Time now for your forewarned weather with Cedric Haynes.
All right, happy Monday, everybody. Let's talk about our forecast. But before we jump into this week, of course, let's review the weekend because Sunday, it was a scorcher of a day. In fact, Sunday, we had our first mid-90-degree day for afternoon highs. In fact, we hit 96 degrees at the Salt Lake City International Airport. Now, typically, we don't see our first 95-plus degree day until about late June. So, yes, this is definitely ahead of schedule, but thankfully, we did not hit 100 degrees. We were 4 degrees shy of that, which we typically don't see until well after the 4th of July. So that would have been a real big staple there. But still, we're only a few degrees away either way. Now, as we look outside right now, temperatures are in the 50s, 60s, and 70s across the area. So it's a very mild start. No need for sweatshirts or jackets, at least when it comes to the temperatures. But we do have some clouds and, yes, some moisture showing up out there. Now, if you look along the Wasatch Front, there is a cold front that's working its way in from the north and west. So it's trying to squeeze out a little precipitation. So we're seeing a couple of spotty light showers showing up with that. Better rain chances, though, right now showing up with some light activity across southern Utah from Lake Powell and then stretching over just north of St. George as well. We're seeing some of the light rain shower activity. I think we're going to see more of that as we go throughout today. We have a high pressure to the east, low pressure to the west, and that is helping to squeeze or funnel in that tropical moisture. This is from a remnant tropical low pressure system. And that means that the potential of this moisture continuing to expand will continue as we go throughout the day. Now, areas I'm most concerned about for the potential of some heavy rainfall is going to be basically along and south of the I-70 corridor here, stretching anywhere from St. George, Cedar City up to Richfield and back up towards the Vernal area there in the Uintas. That's going to be the best chance of squeezing out some pockets of some pretty heavy rainfall today. So as we walk you through things with Futurecast, notice here this morning we had a few light showers across the north. Let's not forget about that. But the main concentration of the activity is going to be across south and eastern sections of the state. As we go into this afternoon and evening, that's where we're going to see some pockets of heavier rainfall showing up from Moab, blending over towards Escalante and back down towards St. George, while we're drier across the northern half of the state. We'll see that wave of moisture fizzle out, and we'll get some brief dry air filtering in as we go throughout your Tuesday. But then we're going to be watching this low pressure reloading with moisture again. And look at this as we go into your Wednesday. We're talking about southwest Utah being the targets of potentially some pretty decent rainfall developing and moving into the area again. So it looks like we may see a little bit of a break on Tuesday, but more rain chances return across the south by Wednesday. So as we look at your flash flood threat, notice over towards the southeastern parts of the state, we've got that potential or possibility of some flash flooding at some of our state parts there. But notice as you get down towards southwestern Utah, that's going to be the chance where we're going to see a more probable chance this afternoon of some flash flooding in some of the parks. So keep that in mind. Overall rainfall totals really focusing in over the next few days here for areas along and south of I-70, where we could see a quarter to a half an inch of rainfall on average with some isolated higher totals and lesser amounts, much lesser amounts across the northern half of the state. So St. George, upper 80s today, scattered showers and storms. We'll get that little bit of a break on Tuesday. Then we bring back more moisture as we get into your Wednesday. So plan on a couple of wet days here to kick off the week, but then we dry it out. We really heat things up by the weekend with highs approaching the triple digits once again. The Wasatch Front, a shower chance this morning. Otherwise, the cooler temperatures are the bigger story across the north. We're looking at about 15 to 20 degrees cooler than what we saw over the weekend. But then notice by the end of the week, we start to warm it back up just in time for the weekend.